have a declaration of this conference just for 5 minutes because they have just 10 or 12 lines. So please give me time to read it out. Thank you. So, we, the participants of the international conference titled Why Balochistan Matters, the Impact of CPC on the Future of the Region, commit ourselves to the struggle for our just and inalienable rights, both as individuals and members of the community, and take all measures possible to protect our lands, language, culture, and separate identities as Baloch and build a society based on values that affirm human dignity and freedom, emphasize diversity and interreligious and sectarian harmony, and promote equality and justice. Pay homage and welcome the words of concern of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji against the forced occupation of lands and human rights abuses by the Pakistani state as a strategic policy against the Baloch, Kashmiri and Gilgit-Baltistan people. Appeal to the conscience of the international human rights organizations, particularly European Union, European countries and United Nations organizations to take effective measures against the Islamic Pakistani state, against the forced occupation of Balochistan, Kashmir and Sindh. Condemn all sorts of discrimination by the Islamic State and by its administrative and religious institutions against the secular Baloch, Kashmiri and Sindhi communities and religious minorities people living back at home. Denounce in strongest terms the continuing perpetrations of heinous crimes against peace-loving Baloch, Kashmiri, Sindhi and religious minorities people by the Pakistani army and military forces, which has resulted in one of the worst human rights violations that has largely been ignored and gone unreported in the history of humankind. Call upon the international community and urge it to take note of the crimes being committed against communities in the name of CPC and put pressure on the Pakistani state to honor its international commitments in cases of occupation, expansionism and making strategic designs against the will of the people on the name of CPC and mega projects. Declare that Gwadar Deep Sea Port project aimed to carve out the local people from their land and eliminate them by military operations and also by using the religious terrorist organizations. Announce that CPC is an illegal strategic and economical design to loot the resources of Balochistan, Sindh and Kashmir against their will. The internally displaced people and ashing and bulldozing their houses and eliminating the people is a genocide of the Baloch people. Request from European Parliament and European countries and the United Nations to take action against the Pakistan and call to halt the CPC as this is a plan on an occupied land and is against the will of the local people. Violation of basic human rights as per UNO Charter and UN laws relating to technical assistance for mega projects. Demand to declare Baloch people kept in custody as prisoners of war and to treat them as per the UN conventions and establishment of an international war crimes tribunal to try the perpetrators of the crimes against the Baloch people. Also express our disaffection about the performance of the judiciary of Pakistan in the context of the missing persons and do not expect any justice under occupation by the Islamic State. Thank you. So this is the declaration of this event.